Some of you walked in here today carrying the weight of storms that tried to destroy you. Storms that hit your life so hard, you didn't even have time to breathe. You smiled in public, but you cried in silence. You kept walking when and you wanted to give up. But let me tell you something. The storm was not sent to end you. It was sent to reveal you. You see, every storm that shakes your world is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. The winds that tore through your peace were actually pushing you toward your purpose. The thunder that scared you was only the sound of God rearranging your path. The rain that soaked you wasn't a sign of punishment. It was the washing away of what could no longer stay with you. So today, we're not talking about what you lost in the storm. We're talking about how to rebuild after it. Because when the dust settles and the silence returns, there's still a version of you that's ready to rise from the ruins. The question is, will you stay broken or will you rebuild? When a storm hits your life, it doesn't knock politely on your door and ask for permission to enter. It crashes through your peace. It shakes your faith. It flips your plans upside down. You wake up one day and everything you once stood on feels unstable. People you trusted walked away. Things you worked for slipped through your hands. And you're left standing in the wreckage wondering, why me? But here's the truth. The storm happened, yes, but it doesn't have the right to define who you are. You can't stop life from raining, but you can decide how to stand when it does. You can't control what the storm took, but you can control what it leaves behind in you. There are people who let the storm become their identity. They start living under the shadow of what went wrong, defining themselves by what broke. But the truth is, the storm may have shaken your world, but it never changed your worth. Just because something fell apart doesn't mean you did. You are still the same soul, the same fighter, the same spirit that existed before the wind started howling. Maybe even stronger now because the storm showed you what you're made of. Think about a tree in a hurricane. When the wind blows hard, some branches snap, leaves fly away, but the roots dig deeper. They cling to the soil with everything they have. That's how you have to be. When life shakes you, go deeper. Don't focus on what you lost above ground. Strengthen what's underneath: your faith, your courage, your discipline, your hope. These are the roots that will keep you grounded when everything else is falling apart. There's a story in every person who survived something hard. A mother who lost her job but still made sure her children smiled every morning. A student who failed an exam but refused to give up on his dream. A man who was betrayed by the very people he helped but still chooses to forgive and move forward. These are storms. And these people didn't let the storm define them. They walked through it, drenched and hurting, but they came out standing taller than before. Sometimes when the storm is at its worst, it feels like the end. The thunder gets so loud you can't hear hope anymore. The rain blinds you. The winds push you backward. You feel alone, misunderstood, tired. But listen carefully. Storms don't last forever. Even the darkest night has an ending. And when the clouds finally clear and the sun touches your face again, you'll realize something beautiful. You didn't just survive, you transformed. The version of you that comes out after the storm isn't the same one that went in. You're wiser. You're tougher and you're more awake. In daily life, you might lose a job, end a relationship, face rejection, or get betrayed. These are real storms. They can break your plans, but they can also build your strength. When you lose something, don't see it as the world turning against you. See it as the world turning you towards something better. Maybe the loss of that job is pushing you to start the business you were always afraid to try. Maybe the end of that relationship is creating space for peace. Maybe the betrayal was protection in disguise. Every storm is a message. It's not over. It's just changing form. The key is to refuse to identify yourself by your pain. Don't become the label of your losses. You are not the one who failed or the one who was left. You are the one who kept going. You are the one who learned to rise again. The storm happened, but you are not your storm. You are your survival. Every scar on your heart is proof that the wind blew, but it didn't destroy you. There will always be people who remind you of what you lost. They'll say, remember when that happened. But you must learn to answer, yes, and I'm still here. The power is not in pretending the storm never happened. The power is in standing there, acknowledging it, and saying, it didn't break me. You don't heal by denying the storm. You heal by rising after it. Every great building that stands tall today once faced a storm during construction. The builders didn't give up when the rain poured. They waited, they repaired, they kept building. That's life. You are the builder of your own destiny. Storms may delay you, but they cannot destroy you unless you let them. The only thing that can truly break you is giving up on yourself. So lift your head, wipe those tears. Look around at what's left, not what's gone. You're still breathing, still dreaming, still capable. That means you still have power. The storm is over, but your story isn't. There's more inside you waiting to be built. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the storm didn't come to bury you. It came to prepare you. Because sometimes the only way to discover your strength is to walk through the wind and still find the courage to stand. You are not a victim of your storm. You are the survivor who stood in the rain, faced the thunder, and refused to bow to the wind. You are proof that even after the fiercest storm, life still grows again. The storm happened, but it didn't define you. It refined you. Pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. Every time life hurts you, it's trying to teach you something. Every tear that falls is watering the ground for a stronger version of you. The truth is, nothing in life happens without purpose. Sometimes the reason is hidden behind confusion, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Pain isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's life's way of shaping you for what's coming next. You see, when we go through pain, our first instinct is to ask, why me? Why did this happen? Why did they leave? Why did I fail? Why did I lose something I love so much? But if you look closer, if you look with wisdom instead of emotion, you'll begin to see that every painful experience carried a lesson your comfort never could. Growth doesn't happen in easy seasons. It happens when life pushes you to the edge and demands that you find your balance again. Think about a seed. Before it can become a tree, it must first be buried in the dark. It must crack open, be broken apart, and endure pressure beneath the soil. It doesn't look like growth. It looks like destruction. But beneath the surface, something beautiful is forming. That's what pain does. It breaks you open, but not to destroy you, to plant something new inside you. It teaches you empathy, humility, strength, patience, and faith in ways that comfort never could. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful had to walk through a valley of pain first. The athlete who wins the medal has trained through pain that most people would quit under. The mother who raises her children alone has cried in silence and sacrificed her peace to give them a future. The man who starts again after losing everything has faced humiliation, doubt, and fear, but he keeps going. These people didn't escape pain. They found purpose in it. They understood that pain is not the enemy. It's the sculptor that carves greatness out of ordinary stone. Maybe life broke your heart. Maybe it ended a dream you worked for. Maybe you faced rejection that made you question your worth. But think back, weren't there moments in your past when you thought something was the end, but it turned out to be a beginning? The job you didn't get pushed you toward a better one. The person who left created space for peace. The door that closed led you to the one that was meant for you. You see, when you look back with a calm heart, you realize that pain was never there to punish, it was there to redirect. In daily life, we often resist pain. We want comfort, certainty, and ease. But comfort doesn't grow you. It keeps you the same. Pain, on the other hand, forces you to face yourself. It strips away your pride, your fears, your illusions, until only the real you remains. When life puts pressure on you, it's squeezing out the weakness, the doubt, the dependency. It's revealing your core, the part of you that's unbreakable. Think of a diamond. Before it shines, it's just carbon buried deep in the earth. What makes it valuable is the pressure it endures. Without pressure, it remains coal. With pressure, it becomes priceless. Your pain is that pressure. It's not meant to crush you. It's meant to change your composition, to turn you into something stronger, wiser, more radiant than you were before. And the beauty of pain is that it gives birth to compassion. When you've been through darkness, you learn to understand others who are struggling. You stop judging people so quickly because you've been there. You know how it feels to break and rebuild. Pain connects us. It turns wounds into wisdom. It teaches you to listen more, deeper, and live with more awareness. There's a power that rises in people who have suffered and survived. They walk differently. They speak with more depth. Their eyes carry stories of survival. These are people who didn't just live through pain. They learned from it. They discovered that sometimes what hurts the most teaches the most. The betrayal showed them who truly cared. The delay taught them patience. The loss taught them gratitude. Every heartbreak became a chapter of strength. So instead of saying, why me? Start saying, what is this trying to teach me? Because there's always a message inside the mess. Pain teaches you to rely on something higher than yourself, to dig deeper, to grow roots in faith instead of fear. When everything falls apart, that's when you learn what really matters. Peace, love, purpose, inner strength. Imagine a craftsman molding clay. He presses, shapes, and bends it until it takes form. The clay doesn't understand what's happening. It just feels the pressure. But in the end, it becomes something beautiful, something useful. That's how life works. The pressure you feel right now might just be life shaping you for what you asked for. You prayed for strength, so life gave you challenges. You prayed for wisdom, so life gave you lessons. You prayed for growth, so life gave you discomfort. Pain isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. It carries you from who you were to who you're meant to be. Every storm, every heartbreak, every moment of confusion is a step on that bridge. You may not understand it while you're walking, but when you reach the other side, you'll look back and say, now I see why that had to happen. So don't curse your pain. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it purify you, not poison you. The same fire that burns away the weak parts of you also forges the steel within you. Pain is temporary, but what it teaches stays forever. Because one day, someone will come to you broken, hopeless, and ready to give up. And you'll be the one to say, I've been there. I know how it feels, but you will rise. That's the purpose of pain. Not just to change you, but to equip you to change others. Every hurt you've healed from becomes healing for someone else. And that's how you turn pain into purpose, by letting it make you better, not bitter. There comes a moment in every person's life when the storm has passed, but the silence afterward feels heavier than the noise ever did. The dust settles, and you look around at what's left. The broken pieces, the scattered dreams, the empty spaces where something precious used to be. It hurts. The natural instinct is to reach for what's gone, to hold on to the debris of what once was. But sometimes the hardest and most courageous thing you can do is to let go of what the storm took. Because not everything that was lost was meant to stay. Some things were only meant to be part of your journey, not your destination. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you forget. It means you choose peace over pain, acceptance over control, growth over grief. There's power in release. You cannot rebuild your future if both your hands are still holding on to your past. Think of it like trying to plant new seeds in soil that's already full of weeds. Nothing new can grow there. You must clear the ground first. The storm didn't just come to destroy, it came to clear the field for new beginnings. Every person has something they struggle to let go of. It could be a relationship that no longer grows, a job that drains the soul, a dream that no longer fits the season, or a version of yourself that can't survive the next chapter. The pain of holding on often becomes heavier than the pain of release, and yet we cling to what's familiar, even when it hurts, because the unknown feels scarier than the broken. But real strength is in loosening your grip and trusting that what left your life was never meant to define your future. Think about a tree in autumn. The leaves don't fight to stay attached. When their time is done, they fall gracefully, and the tree doesn't panic. It doesn't chase after them. It trusts the process, knowing that in time, new leaves will grow again. In life, we often forget that same truth. We keep chasing after fallen leaves, trying to bring back what's already gone, instead of preparing for the new season that's waiting to bloom. There's a story in every loss. Maybe you loved deeply and got betrayed. Maybe you worked for years and still faced failure. Maybe you gave your all and it still wasn't enough. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel the ache of what's missing. But don't build a house there. Don't make your pain a permanent address. Mourn what you lost, but don't let it trap you. The longer you hold on to what's gone, the longer you delay what's coming. In daily life, you see it everywhere. A woman keeps reading old messages from someone who's no longer there. A man keeps walking past the workplace that laid him off, still replaying the moment he was told to leave. A student keeps staring at the rejection letter that shattered a dream. These are human moments, moments that ache and sting. But there comes a day when you must look at what's left, not what's lost, because your future isn't behind you. It's ahead, and it's waiting for you to take your eyes off what's gone and focus on what's growing. Letting go isn't forgetting the storm. It's understanding that the storm served a purpose. Maybe that relationship was teaching you self-worth. Maybe that failure was building resilience. Maybe that closed door was protection. Sometimes what feels like rejection is really redirection. And what feels like loss is actually liberation. You cannot climb to new heights while carrying the weight of everything you were supposed to outgrow. It takes wisdom to know when to fight for something and when to release it. Some people are not meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some opportunities will fade so new ones can emerge. Some plans will crumble so better ones can be built. If you keep trying to rebuild with broken materials, you'll only repeat the same pain. You can't build a strong foundation with fragments that belong to a past season. You need new strength, new faith, new focus. Think of the phoenix, a bird that burns in its own fire only to rise from its ashes. It doesn't try to save the old feathers or pieces of its former self. It rises renewed, reborn lighter. That's what happens when you let go. You rise. You shed the weight that kept you grounded in sadness, and suddenly you realize that the pain of loss was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to set you free. There's beauty in surrender. It's not weakness to say, I'm done trying to fix what no longer fits. It's wisdom. It's courage. It's growth. Because every time you release something that no longer belongs, you make space for something better. You create room for peace, joy, and purpose to enter. Look back on your life. How many times did you think losing something was the worst thing that could happen, only to realize later it was the best thing for you? That relationship you thought you couldn't live without turned out to be the reason you found yourself. That job you lost became the reason you discovered your passion. That rejection you cried over became the redirection that led you to your breakthrough. So take a deep breath. Exhale the things that no longer serve you. Stop trying to fix the unfixable. Stop dragging broken pieces into a new season. The storm already did the hardest work. It removed what couldn't go with you. Now it's your turn to rebuild with peace, not with pain. Letting go is not losing, it's making room. It's saying, I'm done carrying what's no longer mine. It's understanding that what's meant for you will never require you to beg, to chase, or to break yourself to keep it. The moment you release what's gone, you begin to heal. And when you heal, you don't just rebuild, you rise higher, stronger, freer. Remember this, the storm may have taken something from you, but it did not take you. You're still here. You still have your strength, your mind, your heart, your faith. That's more than enough to rebuild something beautiful again. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can ever say after a storm is not, I lost everything, but I let it go and I'm free. When life gives you the chance to rebuild, you have two choices: rebuild from memory or rebuild from vision. Most people, after the storm, try to put everything back exactly as it was before. They chase the past, trying to recreate the same structures, the same routines, the same feelings. But what they don't realize is this: the storm didn't just come to destroy what was outside of you. It came to awaken something new inside of you. It came to shift your direction, to remind you that you can't live today with the same patterns that failed you yesterday. When you rebuild, don't build with memory, build with vision. Memory wants to take you backward. It whispers, let's make it like it used to be. Vision pulls you forward. It says, let's create something better. The danger of memory is that it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's known. But comfort can be the enemy of growth. You can't build a new life while looking in the rearview mirror. If you keep staring at what was, you'll miss what can be. The storm didn't erase your life. It cleared the path for your next level. Think about it when a city faces a great flood or an earthquake and buildings are destroyed. The engineers don't rebuild with the same old blueprint. They redesign, they build stronger, smarter, safer. They ask questions: what failed before? What can be improved? That's how life works too. Your personal storm showed you what parts of your foundation were weak, what relationships couldn't handle the pressure, what dreams lacked stability. Don't go back and rebuild with the same cracks. Learn, grow. Design your new life with vision, not memory. In daily life, this truth speaks loudly. Maybe you lost a relationship and you keep replaying old moments, wishing you could go back to how things used to be. But maybe those moments weren't meant to last forever.